to another edition of Grizzlies Daily. I'm your host, Malik, and let's just jump straight into it. We got some great news coming from multiple sources, including Shams and the NBA. The All NBA rookie teams have come out, and good news: Jalen Wells and Zach Edey both made the first team. Now, to me, this comes as no surprise. Both of these guys have been consistently in the Rookie of the Year race throughout the entire season, with Jalen Wells being a consistent second and Edie fluctuating between third and fourth and fifth. But we all kind of knew they were the top rookies in this class. Obviously, with Stephon Castle winning the award from San Antonio, but Jalen Wells and Zach Edey both making all rookie teams, first team at that. So good news for them. They're actually, and I have it pulled up right here. Shout out to Fast Break Breakfast on Twitter, great guy. Jalen Wells and Zach Edey are the first teammates to make the All Rookie first team since John Morant and Brandon Clark. And if you remember, John Morant and Brandon Clark did very good in the summer league, specifically Brandon Clark, and it really helped towards his development on the team. So hopefully we see something like that with either Jalen Wells or Zach Edey. Hopefully they can build from this and truly, implement themselves into the offense thoroughly and within the franchise as young key pieces. Like I said, I've been an advocate for more veterans on the team, so I feel like with these young pieces, I feel like we're good. I don't think we need to go any younger. I feel like we have the youth, we got the development that we need right now. So I don't think going younger is gonna help anybody. Get some people with experience, get them around Jalen Wilson, Zach Edey, help them develop even more, and we're looking at a pretty good team. So once again, congratulations to Zach Edey and Jalen Wells on making all rookie first team. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do this year, especially in the summer league and in their sophomore season. So can't wait to see it. Now, I do want to stay on the topic of both Jalen Wells and Zach Edey. Speaking, and while we're on the subject of Jalen Wells, I actually have a tweet confirmed from his father, Fred Wells, excuse me, um, along with him being selected to the All Rookie First Team. Jalen Wells is fully cleared. If you remember, Jalen Wells right before the playoffs, in the game against the Charlotte Hornets, went up for a dunk on a fast break, but KJ Simpson undercut him, clipped his legs, and he essentially fell right on his face. Excuse me. Yeah, he fell right on his face and ended up break. I believe, I don't want to say broke his wrist, but he hurt his wrist and essentially fractured something in his face, which obviously kept him out for the rest of the season. So good news for the Grizzlies. That means he'll be ready by training camp, which is very good news because Jalen Wells, if you see, he's been in the gym even when he got hurt. It is a picture of this man working out in the Grizzlies practice facility with a cast on his arm on some Kobe Bryant type thing. And honestly, that's inspirational. That's what you want to see out of a guy, especially a second round pick at that. So it's very good to see Jalen Wells is fully recovered. It was a scary moment when he got hurt. So seeing him fully recovered, especially on a quicker pace, it's very good news for Grizzlies. But as far as Jalen Wells getting better, I feel like Jalen Wells is on the right track when it comes to getting better. I wish the Grizzlies. Well, one thing I hope to see from the Grizzlies this year, I want to be able to see Jalen Wells used more in the off-ball sense, like set some. The Grizzlies have to utilize what a lot of teams are doing, which is the off-ball screen, and they don't really use the off-ball screen much. Sometimes they'll use it for like Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson, but I think if you get Jalen Wells more on off ball screens, you have an open door for backdoor cuts, cuts towards the paint, just or getting open on the wing. We know Jalen Wells loves to shoot from the wing, so I think if you set some off ball screens and have him move more off ball instead of like kind of sitting in the corner in the wing just as somebody gets open, I think you get a lot more out of Jalen Wells than what we already saw. And of course, defensively, Jalen Wells is only going to get better defensively. I mean, we're talking about a guy that held Steph Curry to 2 points in one game. So that's pretty good. In fact, he actually held him to no field goals made. So seeing that from a rookie, that's a very good sign. So I think Jalen Wells is on the right track, getting better. Can't wait to see how they implement him in the offense this year. And if they keep it up, really, I think we are seeing a very good star in the making and potentially a key franchise piece. So as long as he keeps that up, I got nothing for Jalen Wells. Obviously, I'll be paying attention in the summer league, but yeah, he's on the right track, and I love his game 100%. Now for Zach Edey, we obviously saw him play a lot more than Jalen Wells, especially later down the line in the season. I like what I saw. I like the rebound numbers. I like the getting to the basket kind of thing. The only thing that frustrates me with Zach Edey is he loses the ball a lot. I don't know if it's because his hands are too big for the ball or what, but one thing I really wish Zach Edey would start doing that a lot of centers do, especially at his size, he has to hold the ball up high. He loves to do like a dribble down, kind of leaving the ball on the floor for the defender to get. But as long as he keeps that ball up, I feel like Zach Edey is unstoppable. So it's like you can take that dribble, but one thing he does a lot, he gets the dribble and he'll pick it up from the ground. What Zach Edey needs to start doing, dribble it up high so that way the ball comes up to you, so that way all you have to do is just in one motion put it up. And I think if he does that, we see less turnovers from Zach Edey, less double teams affecting him. Offensively, I think that's really all he needs to do. I like the pick and roll game. Honestly, if Zach Edey can develop a consistent mid range, that'll be good too, spacing wise. But really, it's just holding on to the ball with Zach Edey. That's really what it is, and kind of just overthinking the play because we saw a lot of missed dunks, a lot of putbacks with him. So as long as he just doesn't overthink the play, I think he's good on offense. Now defensively, that's where a lot of work needs to come in, and that's where a lot of skepticism was for Edey was his speed on defense. And we got a first glance at that later down the line, especially in towards the play-in tournament. Just he needs to find a way to be quicker on defending the pick and roll. We saw a lot of him doing drop coverage simply because he would just guys would just blow right past him because they're faster. I think if he works on his footwork and how to really shuffle on the pick and roll, I think we're looking at a pretty good defender come Zach Edey, especially in that kind of defense. Now, if the Grizzlies want to switch more into a zone look, I mean, I think that kind of benefits them as well. You don't have Edey move around much while he's also still protecting the paint. You got a potential to lead Jaren Jackson out of foul trouble with that kind of defense. So hopefully that's something that really comes into play. But really, it's just that pick and roll defense. Zach Edey gets out of that drop coverage and he actually, kind of plays the perimeter well until guys can cover his spot. I feel like we're looking at one of the best defenders in the league. So yeah, I think he does that. Zach Edey, you're not really asking much from him except for that. Now, like I said, summer league, we're gonna obviously see that. I believe Zach Edey will be playing the summer league. If not, we'll obviously wait till preseason and training camp to see how he is improved. But I think Zach Edey is on the right track when it comes to it. Now, when it comes to being on the wrong track, it's the Grizzlies. That I can't sugarcoat it anymore. And the only reason I say that is because game one of both conference finals have just passed, and watching those games, I've come to the conclusion, and a lot of Grizzlies fans have come to the conclusion, the Grizzlies are in a terrible spot right now. They're in a terrible spot right now simply because we're looking at these teams and we can tell that they are miles better than the Grizzlies. And I'm not even just talking about OKC. Minnesota, okay, the Grizzlies are about neck and neck, but with the way Julius Randle is playing right now, they're clearly better. You look at the Pacers, they're miles better than the Grizzlies. You look at the Knicks, miles better than the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have to really, 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 really pick it up this whole season. All of these teams have gotten better over time, and it's showing. And the Grizzlies, on the other hand, are just kind of taking a backseat, taking the long road, and it's hurting them in the long run because it's like we're wasting the championship window that we have. We haven't had a championship window like this in over a decade. So it's just like you got to really figure it out because I'm looking at guys like Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson just will their teams and lead them. And even if they aren't willing their teams, you got guys like Aaron Neesmith, Miles Turner, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart just willing their teams even when their stars aren't necessarily providing what they need to. So it's just like the Grizzlies really have to work on that depth because if you want to compete with these top teams, you really have to have a bench unit. You have to have a core unit around your star player. And the Grizzlies are failing to do that. And if they don't do that this all season, we're going to see a lot of criticism from fans and coaches and potentially players. So I keep pleading, but Zach Kleiman, you really need to get this roster going because if you don't, I'm telling you what's going to happen. And as a Grizzlies fan, I'd really hate to see that, but it's just a reality. Every other team is getting better except for the Grizzlies. Now, I don't think it's because we let anybody go, but I think it's because we haven't found a way to replace those guys. And I think that's where the nostalgia part comes from. That's why you see people talking about Dylan and Steven Adams. It's the fact that we haven't had anybody to replace them. It's just that simple. And we thought we might have had a replacement for Dylan and Marcus Smart, but he just wasn't available enough for the Grizzlies. And they ended up trading him for a salary dump and no real replacement. Same thing with Jake LaRavia. No real replacement. So it's like we're doing these moves, but we're not replacing the people that we already let go. I mean, you're letting these guys go. You would hope to get better, but that's not what the Grizzlies are doing. We're not getting better. We're just kind of staying stagnant, or if not worse. So I think that's where the nostalgia factor comes in with a lot of fans. But I think once the Grizzlies makes some moves, we're looking at a different team. I mean, I'm looking at potential offseason moves. You could go after a good Nikhil Alexander Walker for a mid-level exception. I still am a good believer in the sign and trade for Jonathan Kuminga. Maybe even try to make a big splash trade for a guy like Giannis. I've seen Bobby Portis on a lot of people's list. Um, Center wise, I'd love for us to go after someone that can move their feet around or just provide what the offense kind of needs. Now, granted, if there was a world where the Grizzlies could get a Miles Turner type player, I feel like that would be perfect. But I feel like that's also Jay Huff. But for some reason, he does not get minutes. So that's a question, and that's a question that really comes to play. But I think I really hope Jay Huff improves because he really can be what the Grizzlies need. I just think they're not really giving him a fair chance anymore compared to the beginning of the season because we saw a lot of potential in Jay Huff, and later down the line, they kind of just that potential just died down because he just fell out the rotation. So hopefully they come up with something because as a Grizzlies fan and seeing guys like Tyrese Halliburton and all these young players make their first conference finals and they are literally thriving and shining in front of our eyes, that hurts because we have John Morant, who is one of the most electrifying players in the league, and nothing to really show for it. That's frustrating. So hopefully we see some change. News wise, obviously I'm gonna keep on the lookout for you guys. So yeah, once again, congratulations to Jalen Wells and Zach Edey on all rookie first teams, and great news from Jalen Wells, obviously fully recovering and being ready before training camp. So great signs on that. As the conference finals and the finals go by and draft season comes around, we're gonna be looking at news, gonna be hearing a bunch of rumors, and I'm gonna bring all that to you guys along with my 2 cents. And I love to hear your opinions in the comments below. So make sure to leave them, and I'll try to respond to anything that I can see. So until the next one, y'all stay blessed.